The next guest I would like to invite is also a very dear friend and a bandmate, a teacher for me, Sarosh Izedyar. Like to call him inside. Hi, Sarosh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Paddy. How are
Awesome,
you?
awesome. Great to have you here, Sarosh. And
Thanks, my pleasure. That Blackbird was good, yeah.
superb. That's.
Very nice, very nice.
I remember you also have
Yeah,
played it.
yeah. I was trying to learn it, and Farzad, that guitarist, was showing me.
Yes, yes.
I was
Farzad
playing.
used to play this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so yeah, Sarosh, uh, I think this chat between the two of us, first of all, is not going to end in 10 minutes. So, whoever is watching, please understand that we're going to go on for more than 20 minutes because it's going to be a little different from all the other chats we had because we've been very close friends for more than
Yeah.
25 years now. So, so take a beer, get some popcorn maybe, and there'll be some
Send
lot
some
of.
beer here too.
So, so yeah, let's start, Sarosh, right from the start. Okay,
Yeah.
you are this very cool guitar player. I remember you as this extremely cool guitar player in college, sitting in the canteen with some 100 people surrounding you, out of which 85 of them were women. Uh, all that apart,
Hmm.
did I think it was quite a lot of time that you already played the guitar till like that, this whole college thing and this playing the guitar thing in college. I suppose you started playing long earlier than that, right?
I started learning at the age of 7, but
7.
yeah, I was 7 years old, and I went to watch this movie, Kars, Rishi Kapoor film, and that's how I wanted to start learning the guitar. So I was lucky to get a good teacher and all that. And in this during the school phase, I was just learning. So I was learning from the book that my sir was using, and went from one book to another. But it was in college where I was recognized as the guitarist because also uh, I was taking part in intercollegiate contests as an instrumentalist, and I would also accompany singers who would sing. And then I would be recognized by the other college participants and all that. Many of them came without an accompanist. I ended up accompanying them on the spot. So that recognition as a guitarist happened in college because school mein to I was just playing during Christmas carols or something like that.
So
And
it was mostly do as directed during school, like whatever was taught, that is what you would play, kind of a thing, or could you pick up songs?
I could pick up songs, but it took me a while because I mean I used to sing in school. I was a singer mainly in school. So because of that, you hit the notes in your head and you search for
Correct.
it. So I remember this tune "Come September" I had learnt on my own when I
Wow.
was
Okay.
around 8 years, 9 years old. My dad had these English Western music, including the Western themes, Good, Bad, and Ugly, and ABBA, and Boney M, and Trini Lopez, Jim Reeves, O.C. Bisa. So those were the kind of stuff, plus some instrumental stuff. And there was Come September was one of them. There was Shadows. So a lot of good stuff. So I could simple tunes like Come September was one. Then there was something else. I don't remember the name. So anyway, I could pick up tunes on my own, uh, the easy ones.
And who was your
But
teacher?
my teacher Salvador Cardozo, he still teaches, and he's very angry about teaching online, but he has to do it. So anyway, so he was very good, and so he took me through those books. But what another thing that he did was he introduced me to good music. He introduced me to the Beatles. He introduced me to the Shadows, Ventures. Those were instrumental bands.
Wow.
Shadows used to also accompany Cliff Richard.
Cliff Richard. Yeah.
I had Cliff Richard LPs at home due to Dad's collection. So besides the academic way of going about learning to read notes and play, he also used to teach me songs which he would feel ki, okay, now he's reached this stage, so he can play this song. So his timing about teaching me the correct song was very good.
Do you use that theory even when you're
I
teaching?
do.
Like,
Yes, yes, I do that. It
amazing.
keeps the student interested, because otherwise it becomes very academic. Uh, it's like one exercise, like one drill. So it has to, you have to break that and just go off track and then come back again. And then tell them that this song is tough for you now because you need to practice more. And I'll give you an example. There was a song by Huey Lewis called Power of Love,
Of course.
and that has a wonderful guitar solo. So I tried to learn that on my own. I started off half midway through the solo, I got stuck because the notes were fast. There were a lot of bends and all that, which at that time I could not understand. I just left it, and I was continuing learning from my sir for some time, and I went from the grade one to grade two or something, and so there was some 6 or 7 months gap from the time I learned that. I tried to learn that. Then what? Then I just came back, and after 6 7 months, and I just put that tape again, and I tried to learn it again, and I learned it immediately. So what happened in those 6 7 months is that because I had learned a lot more and I had practiced a lot more, and my ears got used to listening to me playing notes faster, so that ear training happened, and I didn't realize it. So the same thing when I heard after 6 7 months, I actually thought, "Ki, about what happened then? Why didn't I? It was so easy actually." So these things helped me with my sir. Look, when he was teaching me.
So yeah, I think one tip over here for people who are listening is probably that give it an attempt, give it a shot. Probably you will end up just getting one part of it right, but leave it at that. Keep
Yeah,
working on your
somehow.
music, and
Yeah,
suddenly
yeah,
you might get
yeah.
back to it. I
Correct.
think I've noticed
I
that it does happen. What you're saying is right.
Yeah. Another way of learning solos. I mean, I'm just extending that thing. Is you try to memorize the tune, the solo. It's not possible if it's too fast and there are too many notes, but at least try to memorize how it's going. Then it becomes a lot easier.
Correct.
And of course, you have to rewind, and that's how I learned rewind, stop, and then figure out the notes. And somehow I was hell bent on learning the notes exact. Uh, and because of that, what happens is you end up trying to play how that guy has played, and in that process, you stumble across a technique which you wouldn't have known had you played your own thing.
Correct.
Because if you play your own thing, you'll only play how much you can play, but you're now trying to play something that he has played. So
Absolutely.
that's these are good things that people should keep in mind. Like, okay, playing your own thing is fine, but try to play that, then play your own thing.
But when did you start playing professionally? Professionally means you are hired to play and you get some money for it.
So that happened when I was in college only. I was in my 12th, just before my
Wow,
HSC exam. So in my
that's like
12th,
18
and
years old.
yeah, and the thing is, I started my live playing with a Malayalam band. Although I had heard a lot of English music, and because of my mom, I had learned a lot of heard a lot of Kishore Kumar and Asha Bhosle, her songs. I used to sing Hindi songs in school. In college, I started. I was totally into rock and all that. After once I entered college, but my first uh, set of shows where actually got paid for it was the Malayalam shows, and that was a totally different thing altogether. So even if I could play tough, I mean, good guitar solos from Sultans of Swing or something like that, sometimes would get stuck in a Malayalam solo because I was told to play what the Veena has played in the song,
Yeah.
copy that style. I got a lot of help from my fellow musicians and all that. I was like 18 at that time. So that started my professional thing, and then word of mouth, and then how one thing leads to another. You start playing for more shows, and more Hindi bands call you. So that's how it happened.
So this next question to you is actually a little long, but probably I'll put some stops in the middle. But the question is like this. Okay, now people you listening, you must hear this question out. He's played with RD Burman, people like Kumar Sanu, and then he moved to Subramaniam, and with El Subramaniam, he got a chance to play with Jean-Luc Ponty and Larry Coryell, the famous guitarist. Then he started playing with Asha Bhosle ji. Then he started playing with Trilok Gurtu in his band, which was completely different from all these styles. And then he plays with Shan, he plays with Shankar, and Farhan Akhtar. In fact, these people he's been, Shankar and Shan, I know he's been playing for more than 10 years now. I think more than 10 years, I think 12 years now. And Farhan Akhtar for the last 7, 8 years that I know. So uh, we would like to actually know um, a line or two from each of these experiences. So let's start with an experience with playing for RD Burman. I mean, how did that happen? Could you just go and play for RD Burman when these big stalwart guitarists were there at that time?
Actually, that happened just by chance. The guitarist who was supposed to play had some personal issues and he was away. And then I was called to play, but at that time I did not know that it was going to be with him.
Okay.
He was getting an award in Indore. It was the Lata Mangeshkar Award, I think. And so there was this very famous band in Bombay called Gunjan Orchestra,
Yes.
and I was called to play for that band, and it was all RD Burman songs. So I thought it's an RD Burman show and all that. I didn't know that he's going to be there. When I reached there, I saw him in the green room sitting there, and I mean no camera, nothing. And those days there were no phones to take selfies and all that. So I just went and shook his hand, uh, and he was sitting in the audience in the front row, and we were playing. Then he joined us for like 4 songs. He sang. He joined us for Chura Liya, that was the first. Then he sang Mehbooba Mehbooba, doing his complicated time variations and improvisations on the spot. And luckily for me, somehow I was not very nervous.
So you're
I,
prepared.
s- yeah, I mean, everyone was prepared, but when some people get nervous when such a big man is sitting in front of you and you're playing his songs. So, and then when he's on stage, and Churalia starts with that guitar line. Uh, it's very possible that you might goof up, because you're nervous. That guy is listening. He's that kind. But somehow I played well, and he was very happy, and everyone was happy, and I was happy. So that was my thing with R.D. Burman. Just that one show. Unfortunately, he passed away very soon after
Very
that.
soon after that, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that happened by chance, the R.D. Burman thing, and I'm very happy that it happened for me.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like a dream come true for many
Yeah,
people. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
that too very young in your age that time.
Right.
You must have been built
21,
20.
21, 21 now.
So yeah, and then you played with Kumar Sanu also. I think you went to Nepal or
Yeah,
something with
so
him.
no, I went to Mauritius with him, three
Mauritius, yeah.
concerts. So that also, I mean, there was a band already in place, and some guitarist was playing there. But then the same guitarist would also play for Sonu Nigam or for Alka Yagnik. At that time they were touring a lot. So that slot again was empty, and the guy Derek used to handle the band. So he called me for that concert. That's how. But those were the only three concerts I played with Kumar Sanu,
Oh
because I
yeah.
was just replacing someone.
But then you had to
Yeah,
learn all those songs, right? I mean, this.
yeah, that was there. I had to learn around 25, 30 songs, and
So that's one thing that I want to ask. I mean, I wanted to ask it afterwards, but the fact that there are so many songs that you learn, and there's so many things that you need to keep in mind, and it's not the music that you listen to in your car or in your house
right,
every
right,
day.
right.
It's something that you listen for playing. This is like some part of your music. Obviously, you're playing because you like,
Hmm.
but there's some
Right.
part of your music that you don't actually play because you like it, but you're
You
playing
do
it
it like
because
a
it's
job,
part
yeah,
of your job.
yeah, yeah.
How do you remember these songs? I mean, I've never seen you with a paper in on stage or something. How?
Actually, I started. I used to do this stupid thing. Like I used to play a entire Malayalam show of 20 songs where I've learned the song, and after I mean, those papers would be there on top of my amp, but I'm not looking at it, just this for reference kind of thing. After the concert, I would just tear the sheets, and I would not need it anymore because now I remember it. And then suddenly after 5 years I would realize that I don't remember it and I have to write them again. That's when I started writing a lot later. I started writing whatever I've learned, and I used to keep it, and that was helpful not only for me but for other fellow musicians who needed some song sheets. So it saves their time. That they have to sit and learn the song and write it and spend an hour. So I used to just give them the sheet. So I
Yeah,
started writing a lot later, but last 15 years I've been writing.
but you
Because
write, but you don't use them on stage, so you
no,
memorize
no,
them.
no, no. Yeah, I write them so that when I'm learning, I quickly write them. Then when I'm practicing, I refer to it. But when I'm on stage, I don't like to look at a sheet and play. I try my best not to, unless it's like a last-minute song and I have to look at
Got
the
it.
chords are complicated or something like that.
Correct, correct. I remember that you had shared a list of about some 15, 20 songs of Shankara Sun Love when you had sent me there, when you were not, just like
Yeah, yeah,
those
yeah, yeah.
earlier incidents that you were talking about, how you replaced certain guitarists.
Right,
Like
right, right.
I remember that I replaced you because you were too busy with Shan at that time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I remember that you had shared those sheets. I still have those sheets, by the way. So,
No, I have scanned all of them now. I have scanned all those sheets and I've kept it because it's a lot of effort. I realized that I've put in a lot of effort learning the songs and writing. Then I shouldn't just throw them away. It's there. I have a list of Marathi songs that I wrote for when I played for Asha ji. It's just one concert, but incredible song list and wonderful concert it was with
amazing,
Hridaynath
amazing.
ji also. Yeah,
Hridaynath ji's compositions must have been there, a lot of
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
Those guys were geniuses. Hridaynath Mangeshkar,
Absolutely,
Sudhir
absolutely.
Phadke,
Wonderful, wonderful.
fantastic music.
Yeah,
Now let's talk about Asha ji. You just mentioned her. You did some 2, 3 tours with her, I think.
many actually. I was with
Many.
her for 7 years, from
Yeah.
'98 to 2005. Yeah.
Now that must have been a completely different experience, right? Not only with
Oh,
the musicians, but also with the songs and her approach towards music. Can you say something about those rehearsals? You have given me a lot of stories, but if some of them you can mention over here about
the
her
first,
stickler
the
for time.
first, yeah, yeah. The first most important thing which I would like to say about her is, okay, we used to rehearse in RD Burman's house in Santa Cruz, and there was a rehearsal time given, 10:30, and like how it is, Bombay may takes time to reach somewhere, so a lot of people would reach later, 10:45, 11. I would try to reach by 10:15. One day I reached at 10 and she's already there from 9 o'clock and she's practicing, and she would always come on time. If she's not coming for the rehearsal, I mean, unless we tell her ki Asha ji aap 1 baje aiye, we are meeting at 10, but we are learning some songs and some parts and all that, so you come later, you need not come at 10 and all that. If you don't tell her that, she's there before 10, before us, which is the first thing that struck me, that this woman at this age and after achieving, I mean, it will take us 10 lifetimes to get there, she's still coming on before time and she's practicing before we reach. It's incredible. So that was one. The second most memorable thing that I felt was while we were touring US, and so how the band would start playing something and then she would sing from backstage, and the roar in the crowd, it used to be like 15, 20,000 people at some venues which had that capacity, otherwise always packed 10, 12,000, 15,000, and all that. And we could not hear ourselves because they would start clapping as soon as they hear her voice. She would start with Kambak Tishk, that song, and when she sings that first line, everyone is stood up and they are clapping. You cannot hear yourself. She's come on stage and she's walking from this end to that end, this end to this end. It takes her around 4 minutes or something to walk slowly from here to there. The crowd is standing and clapping, and at that time I felt ki I must have done something really special to be here with this lady on this stage, with so many people actually watching her and me also and everyone else.
Absolutely.
It was incredible, that feeling. And I think uh, to a large extent, of course, there is hard work, but there's also some luck involved. So you need a bit of both. I've been lucky in that aspect. I would say to perform with her and with other legends, like El Subramaniam, Trilok Gurtu, all those people. Yeah.
Amazing. So the next we'll talk about Trilog.
Okay.
How was the experience? What did you learn there, and how was it?
Trilok Gurtu was the toughest experience as a musician. Someone I learned a lot of things while on that journey with him. And the most important thing I learned was, of course, discipline as a musician and playing in different time signatures. Like there was no song which was straight. There was a song in 5, there's a song in 7, there's a song in 9, and in that there are phrases which are not straight 7 or straight 5. So you have to keep that count of 7 or 5 or 9 going and play those phrases which you're not used to. Uh, and in that band, I was required to play bass lines along with uh, guitar lines, and I was using a guitar synth at that time. So I was connecting my guitar synth with my guitar processor and mixing two sounds to get a bass guitar sound sometimes with an overdrive, and sometimes using pads and all that. So it was very difficult that phase, but I had a lot of desire to play complicated music, and he helped me a lot. He definitely helped me. When I went for my audition to his place, I did miserably. But so I told him, I'm not ready for you yet. I'll come back after a year and you take another audition. So maybe he liked that, and he said, "No, no, I'll teach you," and all that. And he gave me a cassette, and those days cassettes were still on. And then I started learning, like how I used to learn these rock solos and all that. So I used to learn like to the note. Uh, now learning is one thing. Then being able to play that is another thing, and then playing with him at the rehearsal is another thing altogether, because it is his music, right? It is his creation. So that 7, that 9, that 5 is in his system, and he's playing something else, but he's coming bang on, and we are getting thrown off, because we are used to that chick. So I'm actually using that chick as a reference point, or one tack as a reference point for me to come with that
And that's
phrase.
not coming.
Then I realize I can't do that. I have to count. I have to count my 7 with my foot, and I started doing that in rickshaws where I was traveling, in buses when I would travel. I used to get up at 4 in the morning and practice that. But it was something that has been with me since then, and even now I feel that some musicians can't understand that when I try to show them that this is 9 or this is 7, this is 5. It's, I mean, incredible journey that was. It was a bit taxing as a musician, because you like, but now when we have our concerts, we go up on stage, have fun. I'm not even looking at the guitar. I played the song 200 times with all of us. But with him, that music was very tough to play. You had to be on your toes.
And that happened
It
to even after your fifth show or sixth show.
No, there was one song. So we had a long 37 concert tour in 2004, which was France, Germany, everything. It ended in Turkey. And there was one song called Nine Horses, which was in 9 beats. It was only after the 20th concert or something that we played it correctly. We, as in me, and so there was Ravi Chari on sitar, excellent musician, and he also helped me a lot in that counting thing. I was playing the guitar synth and playing bass guitar parts and all that. Also doing backing vocals. Sanchita Farooq was the singer, and Trilok was. So there was 4 of us. And it was only after the 20th concert that Nine Horses started coming like bang on. Like we were like kings in that song by then. But it took 20 concerts. After 20 concerts. It was very tough.
So there's a popular saying that till that time it was only about 8 horses that were running or something that you used to tell me.
I used to tell when we were rehearsing and we would miss the beat and all that. So I would say, now may say one horse is like lame. So we would joke stuff. He was also very he used to crack a lot of jokes and all that. Trilo. Very nice, funny guy that way.
So, and then it came to these big league, big ticket shows with Shan and Shan during his prime,
Yeah, yeah,
Shankar, and then Farhan from the start, right, from the first show.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
let's talk about Shan and your relation. I mean, from the first show that you've been with him, I don't think he's ever thought of having a show without you. I think
Yeah, we we've been performing together since 2004 now. So it's been 17, not 17, 16 years, because last year though just went like that. But but the first two concerts I played were in Nigeria, where I was again replacing someone. And then for that 1 year I did not play with him because that guitarist had got back and all that. And then there was something happened and he wanted to change the guitarist, and then he told the band guy that that guitarist who had come in Nigeria, let's call him. So that's how I got into the band. So 2004 onwards I've been regular. And I mean, I try my best to be there whenever he has a concert, but sometimes I used to get a Farhan concert or a Shankar concert. So you know how it is, like whatever's come first, whatever you have committed to, you have to go for that. So that's when he would have to take another guitarist, and I would share my chord sheets and even the solos. And in fact, I've recorded my solos and made a video and sent it to the guitarist. He's come home, recorded my solos, exactly what I've played. So all that is only because I want for two things. I want to help another musician who's playing, and I'm not worried that he will take my place or something. The other thing is it's Shan's concert, and I want it to be good. And I'm not there. I'm feeling lousy about it. The only way I can help is by helping someone else, play those songs.
but doesn't
And
that
it's not easy.
doesn't that contradict the general mentality of a musician of saying that I'm not there so that other musician I understand that he's not going to play good enough, so it's definitely great that I'll go back and he'll regret the fact that I'm there or not.
No, I mean, I think if you are honest with your work and honest with someone you're working for, so then when you are not there for him and he's expecting you to send somebody, then that person should be at least 80%, 90% of you, or at least get him prepared.
Correct.
See, it's not easy. Even if that guitarist is better than me, it's not easy to go up there and play the first concert straight away. As in, it's not
Yeah,
easy
it's not
because you have. It's all about chemistry
the
and all
vibe.
that.
Yeah,
In the band, everyone follows me. So by the look of just one look, they know that it is this song. And with Shan, I've performed for so long that by the way he sings, I know that he wants to go to the next song. He will not continue the song anymore, which he does normally. But on that particular day, I realized that he's singing it this way, and now he's going to go to the next song. And I've already told the band. So those things cannot happen even if the guitarist is better than you. So even if he goes there to replace you, and you should not be worried about that. Actually, I feel no one should. As long as you're there, you do your work.
right.
It has come to you on its own, right? Shan decided to call me. It happened for me. So, uh, so it will. I mean, if you do your work well, it's going to be recognized.
But I've noticed, I've seen some of your concerts. In fact, I wanted to tell you this something that you mentioned. All there was a concert in which I was backstage and I was with your mother,
Hmm.
and you were on stage. I think after the show you were packing up, and Shan came out, and we were waiting over there in the wings. And
Uh,
Shan met your mother and said that when Sarosh is there, I really have no problem at all. Uh,
hmm.
and this is exactly the same statement that even Shankar Mahadevan made once to us
IIT
in
concert.
the IIT
Yeah,
concert. He
yeah,
said the
yeah.
same thing. He said that if Sarosh is there, then I don't have to worry about anything because he'll control the band. And so coming back to the point that I was saying, when I've seen a Shan concert, right? Of course, Shankara Sun Love and all I've played, so it's I know that. But in a Shan concert, what I notice is that it is very guitar driven, very even if it's a song like Das Bahane, which is a very keyboard driven song. Even in those kind of dance kind of songs where guitars were not used in the original song, there is this
Hmm.
whole guitar melody, a rock kind of a feel that's happening.
Yeah, yeah,
Is that
yeah.
because you're there, or is it because he also likes it and he feels that this is a great sound to be for live? How does it work?
No, I decided to use that rock guitar sound as a body behind the song to create a different kind of a sound for the band,
Yeah, like
like a pop rock band. So I mean, and it comes to me naturally that playing that rock guitar drive thing. So even if it is not there in the song, I just thought, ki, how would a rock guitarist play behind the song?
correct.
Not all songs, some songs, most of the songs I do that. There are some songs which don't have solos, and I put in one solo there. Uh, Something, things like that. So these things, and so as I was doing it, maybe he liked it because he didn't tell me don't do that, or he let me do what I was doing and change things a bit. And overall sound of the band is like the texture of the song is there, like Das Bane, for example, that's there, the keyboard is just playing, but I'm doing some rock guitar backing behind. So I'm just adding a body which is like behind the song, and I'm playing some things in between if I feel there is a need for it.
And then Shankar Mahadevan, you play with him even with Shankar Sun Love, and even when he does his solo shows. In fact, most of the times when he does his solo shows, he tries to call you, especially when the shows are in the south, right?
In the south, mainly because he feels that those Tamil songs and all that I will be able to understand better. Not that I need to know the language, because when I played for Malayalam shows I didn't know the language, but I was playing. So maybe he felt that for Tamil songs, so the entire band would be from Cochin. It was just me there as a guitarist who was going, and Darshan would come on drums because there
Okay.
was a rock on section and all that. But the Tamil songs, it was all that band, entirely that band. But I would be playing as the guitarist. So maybe he felt that I have that thing
That
of
that experience of playing the Veena style and all that also must have helped, na, in those kind of songs.
yeah, yeah, it helps. It definitely helped. I mean, it was no matter what. I mean, if you think that you played 10 solos of Iron Maiden, you can easily get stumped by one such Malayalam
Malayalam song.
song where there is a Veena solo. And that's when you realize, oh, you're not there yet. You need to now practice this.
Correct.
Because you have to now play that on stage, and then some thousand people will be listening to you.
That's just
You can't
amazing.
mess up.
So you, so these styles that you picked up. So this next question is actually about these. So you've picked up a lot of styles, okay? And I have seen that this whole Malayalam Veena style of playing, which is like a very, uh, I mean, some people have made a career out of it. Like Guitar Prasanna is known for
Yeah,
his
yeah,
doing that as a
yeah.
technique, and there are,
Right.
and then you play rock and this rock with tapping and all those eight finger tapping and
Hmm.
all that happening, and then there is this whole Hindi scene, and then there is this jazz scene that you played with El Subramaniam and Larry Coryell. I remember,
Yeah.
by the way, guys, I was privileged to meet Larry Coryell because of Sarosh, and that too at in Sarosh's house, where Larry Coryell had come to have dinner, home cooked food, and Larry Coryell picked up his guitar and gave him some tips. I was actually witness to this, and it was just amazing. But these
Yeah.
kind of things. So that question to you right now is this: that covers. How important is it to learn theory, learn covers versus doing your own thing? I mean, what are your views? If does a musician need to learn other composers' music and all that? Because I feel that that is something that has helped you a lot because of all these different styles that you've adapted.
Yeah. See, most of us in India start up learning covers only. Whether it is singing, you learn a Kishore Kumar song or you learn anybody's song and you sing. So you are doing a cover. You when you learn to play any song in a show, you are playing a cover anyway. So you start your career playing covers, and when you're doing that as a singer, you try to imitate that singer, or you try to sing like him or her. So you learn certain things there, because that person has done it in a certain way, so you know that these are the notes he's sung, and I have to sing this and I have to practice this. Similarly, when I was learning covers and learning to play solos and all that, because I wanted to play it exactly like that, and I would like really destroy my tape recorder, trying to learn that solo, but I would eventually get all the notes. So for me, the first step was getting all the notes. Once I got all the notes, then I would keep playing those notes slowly and listening to the solo separately. Once I could play at that speed, I would play along with the tape. When I'm playing along with the tape, I would realize that two, three notes I've picked up wrong, and then I would again correct it. So while doing that, I realized that I stumbled upon some technique which this guitarist has used to play. Otherwise, it's not possible to play this. So he's probably done this. So because I kept on doing it, I was also lucky that suddenly I got one brainwave, and समझ में आया कि अच्छा, he's done this. Like for example, like when you learn a line on from a solo, there are 3 4 different places on the guitar that you can play it.
1 second, we might stop in
Yeah.
10 seconds because of the
Huh.
system issue. I think we
Okay.
continued for a very long time. So
Okay.
I think we're done now. We'll have to do something more
Okay.
later.
ठीक है. See you.